premier boxing champions on ESPN from the Barclays Center on August 1. It's prime time on ESPN, coverage beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Tickets are from $250 down to $45. Available at barclayscenter.com, ticketmaster.com, the box office at Barclays, or by calling Ticketmaster or calling the Barclays Center. The main event is a classic Philadelphia versus Brooklyn matchup featuring two of boxing's biggest stars, and it's a must-win situation for both fighters. When Danny Swift Garcia takes on Paulie Magic Man Malignaggi, it's 12 rounds at welterweight at 147 pounds. Interestingly, both of these fighters participated at the Barclays Center inaugural boxing card in 2012. Danny Garcia, the former unified welterweight champion, made 5 defenses, junior welterweight champion, wasn't it, actually? Made 5 defenses of his belt. It'll mark Danny's official move up to welterweight, his 5th appearance at Barclays Center. And his last fight, he had a really tough win, a really hard-fought fight with Lamont Peterson. And on August 1, he has his hands full with Paulie Malignaggi, former welterweight and junior welterweight world champion, has a record of 33-6. It's Paulie's 4th fight at the Barclays Center. He defeated Pablo, Cesar, Cano, and Zab Judah there, and he lost a close split decision to Adrian Broner. Paulie, you want to start by saying a few words?
Thank you, Lou. I'm just really feeling blessed for the opportunities. It was an opportunity that I didn't see coming my way after pulling out of the O'Connor fight. But I had debated just back for the summer, and then I'm trying to kick things back up for the fall, and just really trying to sit back and enjoy the summer more so than training and whatnot. And this kind of opportunity just fell into my lap. It was like I said, it was unexpected, but I'm all about competing against the best. As surprised as I was, it was also an opportunity I couldn't say no to. It's a chance to be back in the main spotlight. That kind of a fight, be at the forefront, which are the kind of fights that I crave anyway, and the kind of fights that really get my adrenaline flowing and get me motivated. Fighting one of the best fighters in the world today, and any weight, like Danny Garcia, it's a motivation to test myself against the best. I've always been one to want to test myself against the best, and so here I am.
Danny Swift Garcia still undefeated, 30-0 with 17 KOs. Danny?
First, I want to say, good afternoon to everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day, and thanks for having me on this conference call. August 1st, it's just going to be another great night, at the Barclays Center. It's my 5th fight there. It's my first fight at 147. I feel like this is a great matchup, stylistically for the fans all around the world. And, come out August 1st, I'm going to be ready. And I'm working hard. I'm training hard. And I can't wait to get in there and showcase my skills in a new weight class.
How do you feel, Danny, now moving up to welter? Do you feel that, this is where you really belong, you've been a little bit less comfortable fighting at 140. Just talk about feeling comfortable in, your first foray into the welterweight division.
I feel great. For the first time in a long time, I could worry about training to get better and not training to lose weight. I've been fighting at 140 my whole career, and I just feel like losing the weight was affecting my performances, mostly in the later rounds of big fights, because I would use a lot of my energy losing weight. And I think I'm gonna feel a lot stronger and a lot better at 147. I think I should have been moved up, maybe after the Matthysse fight. But I'm here now, and I feel good. I feel strong. I'm training hard, and we're working on new things just to get faster and stronger at 147.
Paulie, it's been a minute since you've been in the ring. Just talk about getting back in the ring after the Porter fight and this opportunity for you.
It just like I said earlier, I feel blessed just to get the opportunity and to get a chance to continue to test myself against one of the best fighters in the world. You get antsy at a certain point when you're not in the ring for a while. At first it was just certain things going through my mind, and maybe I didn't want to fight, but as time went by and I started working out again, I started realizing that it was something I missed. it was something I was still craving, and I wanted to be back in there, And this year in particular, it's been different than a lot of years. I mean, people are going to talk about my layoff, but ever since I started making pretty good money in my career, I've never gone back to the gym after a big training camp. I've always had my fight, and then I've gone right back into hibernation and just hanging out. And not to say that I live badly with fights, because I don't, but still, not spending large chunks of time in the gym will affect your sharpness, And this year, not even by design, just on accident, I've spent almost the entire year in the gym, and I've been able to balance it out with all my travel with my commentating. And I was in camp with Ali for his sparring him for his last fight with Santana on HBO, and then I went right into my own training camp for Daniel Connor, and I got caught just 2 weeks before that scheduled fight. So, and then I got called for this fight, not long after that. So, in reality, I've spent a large chunk of the year in the gym, which is something that hasn't happened in a long time, and I feel sharper for it. I mean, people are going to talk about the layoff. People are going to talk about the fact that, I haven't fought in so long, but in reality, I actually haven't trained this consistently in a decade. I mean, literally a decade. I mean, since I fought Miguel Cotto, I started making pretty good money after that, and I haven't stayed all year in the gym. Before that, I was in the gym all year, And like I said, I didn't even mean to do it by design. It's not like, it's not like I said, this year I'm going to spend the whole year in the gym. It's not something I planned. It's just something that ended up happening, going from one camp into another camp, and I guess just on accident. But I do feel the sharpness in the gym. I do feel the timing is really good, and and obviously my weight has come down. So that's a good feeling, knowing that I have to drop a lot of weight during the training camp, and just work on the sharpness and keep getting better. And we'll look to show that on August 1st.
Was there ever any serious consideration about retiring after the Porter fight, or was that just something that was floating around out there?
It wasn't even something I considered. It was just something that I felt like I was going to do.
Right.
I just felt like, what, I don't really want to do this. And the time, the way I felt, the way where my mind was at, it was just something I didn't want to do anymore. And so I think that's probably the best thing that happened to me in terms of thinking it like that. Not talking about the loss, but in terms of my mindset in that moment was probably the best thing, because if you start to tell yourself you're going to have a layoff and you're going to come back, in the back of your mind, you're never going to take that time off the right way. You're just going to be thinking about you should be back in the gym, or when's the right time to get back in the gym. But because I wasn't thinking that, I was just thinking, what, I'm done. I gave myself plenty of time to, kind of rejuvenate a little bit before I got back in the gym. And then I decided, hey, what, I kind of miss this. I want to get back in the gym. So I think the change of my mind was probably a good thing, as opposed to just telling myself, what, I'm going to take some time off and then come back. I really didn't think I was going to come back. So when I took the time off, it was really like, a time that I was legitimately in my mind feeling rested and feeling, get myself rejuvenated without even realizing it, And then by the time I got back in the gym, it was like trying to rebuild and a new me, so to speak.
Paulie, when the fight was offered to you, talk about, I guess, your thought process, and did you think that maybe, this might be too big of a step up after you were going to be fighting, Danny Connor after the long layoffs?
I was actually surprised. First I didn't realize Danny was actually going to move to welter right away. I thought, I figured like he was having trouble making the junior welterweight limit, but I had heard rumblings that he still wanted to stay at junior welter for a little longer. So I was surprised just in general that he was moving to welterweight. And then, obviously I was surprised that I got the call, because I wasn't, coming off the layoff. I thought maybe they would get somebody else, instead of me to fight Danny. But obviously, when I got the call, I was surprised, but it was almost like pleasantly surprised. And not because I respect Danny, because I do. I got a lot of respect for Danny and his family and his father and everything. But I'm a competitor, and it was just, I haven't had a big fight in over a year. So it's just like, man, this is an opportunity for me to kind of put myself back in the mix with one really good performance, as opposed to slowly getting back in the mix over the course of 3-4 fights. I'm 34 years old. I'm not 24, so I don't really have that kind of patience anymore. At the same time, when I got the call, I also realized how good I had felt in the gym sparring, and how good I had been feeling in the gym, just getting in shape and whatnot. So I felt like I could just flow right into another training camp, because I hadn't taken that long a time off after I had been cut for the O'Connor camp. I actually still kept up running, actually. So my weight was still good, and so it kind of made sense on a lot of fronts. I didn't tell myself, oh, it's a big step up after the layoff. I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it from more of a positive perspective.
Yeah, obviously facing Porter, all the health scare that you went through, and now you're facing a pretty heavy puncher in Danny. I mean, are there any health concerns for you, or just heading into this fight?
I don't ever think about that stuff, man. You have to have a short memory in boxing, and that applies to both when you look good and when you look bad. So I mean, whatever has happened to you in the past it doesn't matter whether it was good or bad. You can't take that into the ring with you in your next performance. You're starting a new chapter every time you step in the ring for round one in your next fight. So on August 1st, round one is a new chapter for me, and so I don't think about what's happened to me in the past, whether it was good or bad. Obviously, the last fight was bad, but it's something that I haven't thought about in a long time, and it doesn't go through my mind.
Hey, Danny, this question's for you. Obviously you're moving up to welterweight, first fight at welterweight. Paulie's not known as a big puncher. He's gone the distance in a ton of fights. Was this an effort for you sort of to kind of, I don't want to say ease your way into the division because Paulie's a great fighter, but kind of, feel what a 147 fight feels like and, a fight very likely to go the distance? Is this, what was your goal here?
This is a fight, that my manager wanted. He gave me the call. He made this fight. And like any other fight, he just asked me, hey, you want to fight this guy? And then we say, yeah, we want to fight this guy. So I didn't go up to welterweight and be like, yeah, I want to fight Paulie because he's not a big puncher, because, fights ain't one off power, fights are one off skill. So, I don't choose the opponent. I don't hear him choose the opponent. But I think overall it's going to be a great fight.
And what are you looking for this fight to do in terms of advancing your career should you win the fight? What would be next for you? What are you aiming to do in this division?
I don't know what's next. I'm gonna take it one fight at a time. I got a task in front of me. I gotta go in there 110% mentally, physically prepared. And just get the job done. And after that, we can see what's next for me.
And this question is for Paulie. Paulie, how do you view a fighter like Danny, a former champion, coming up from 140, to 147? And what do you think about Danny, moving up?
I think he's a phenomenal fighter. I've even told Danny myself, early on I wasn't high on him, but I noticed it when he was in the prospect stages. He was beating some really good names, and he had a harder road up than a lot of prospects do, in terms of the guys he had to fight, and he grew on me, and I started realizing, I'm not looking at this kid the right way. This kid is actually good on a lot of fronts, both from a physical perspective and from a mental perspective. He's very strong. So I've always had a lot of respect for him, but in terms of moving from 140 to 147, he's no different than me. I mean, I was a junior welterweight champion, and I moved up to welterweight. So from that front, I don't even look at myself as a bigger guy or anything. As a matter of fact, he's moving up to welterweight at a younger age than when I moved up to welterweight. So his body's going into the division a little sooner than my body grew into the division. So I think from that point of view, we both have that in common, that we're both ex-junior welterweights, and I didn't turn pro welterweight, and obviously he didn't turn pro welterweight. So from a physical standpoint, I'm not looking at it as having any advantages. Obviously skills win fights, like Danny just said, and it's just about matching up my skills to his skills.
For you, Danny, your last fight against Lamont Peterson, you got a little bit of criticism. The fight with Herrera, you got criticism. Then you're getting a lot of criticism. What I'm saying is, over your career, you've gotten a lot of it since the Matthysse fight. Moving up to 147, do you really feel like you're going to be able to put a staple on a lot of people's mouths to shut them up about all the criticism that comes with Danny Garcia?
I think that's just the luck in boxing. Because I've been the underdog before. And I won, and it's like, he got lucky. So it's either I'm the favorite or I'm the underdog, and I win. It might not ever get enough, but I can't feed into none of that stuff. I have to just go into each fight like I always am, mentally prepared, physically prepared, go in there and get the job done. And if it's good enough for the media, it's good enough for the fans, I'm happy. But if it's not, I'm still happy because it takes a real man to go in there and put gloves on and fight another man, for 12 rounds. And it takes a lot of discipline to be in the gym for 10 weeks straight, waking up every day, doing the same thing, sweat, blood, tears, all that stuff. So, I would love for the fans and the media to love me, but, it is what it is. Like, they're tough on me, and that's what keeps the chip on my shoulder, and that's what makes me train hard every day.
Paulie, the question for you is that I know you've watched Danny's career. Against Lamont Peterson, it seemed like he struggled with the boxing and the skill set of Peterson. Herrera the same way, being crafty. Do you see those as advantages that you may have over him that Danny may have a little bit of difficulty with skilled boxers?
Well, I think styles make fights. So, from a stylistic point of view, there are things that, I feel like I'll be able to do against Danny, and I'm sure, but I also expect Danny to have made some adjustments since those fights. When it comes to the Lamont Peterson fight, as I was watching that fight, and Lamont started turning things around, I started thinking maybe Danny it got in his mind after the first 3, 4, 5 rounds that this was the kind of fight this was going to be all night. And when you kind of get into that lull in your mind where, hey man, it's going to be just a slow paced fight, and this is we're just going to go through the motions for 12 rounds, and then suddenly the script gets switched on you. You weren't ready. I felt like Lamont almost lulled him to sleep, and so from there, I don't know that Danny would make that mistake again. I felt like, I don't know if I'm making any sense. The pace was so slow early on that you can I felt like I put myself in Danny's shoes and I said, you know what, if I was Danny, I would probably be thinking through 3, 4 rounds, that's it. This is the kind of fight we're going to fight for 12 rounds. So I wouldn't be ready when suddenly the heat got turned up, because if in your mind if you put in your mindset that fight is going to be, and then things switch and you kind of get caught sleeping. So I felt like maybe it was learning experience for Danny. But as far as from the stylistic point of view, yeah, I like the way my boxing skills match up to his. I'm sure there's things he feels he can do to me as well, and that's kind of why we get in the ring. We compete with each other, and you match up skills. But I'm sure with this, both of us have certain advantages over the other that we're both going to try to apply once the bell rings on August 1st.
Before this was billed as a must-win fight for both fighters, but how do you look at that? Do you see that as a must-win situation for you, especially coming off the loss to Shawn Porter?
I think it's more must-win for me as far as my own boxing career is concerned. I think there's no question that from my professional boxing career, not my commentating career, to take everything else aside, for the life of my professional boxing career to continue, I feel like this is a must-win for sure. I don't think it's as much of a must-win for Danny as it is for me. At this level, you always feel like it's must-win because you're always in the mix for a bigger fight if you can win. So it's always must-win. But in reality, to be really a must-win, I feel like the burden falls on me more than Danny for it to be that kind of must-win. But it's also nothing new to me. I've been written off before. My career was supposed to end in 2009 when I went to Houston, Texas. I had just come off the Ricky Hatton loss, and I went to Houston to fight Juan Diaz. And no matter what I said in the press conferences, no matter what I said in interviews, I remember it just went in one ear out the other for people. And, they just kind of felt like this was going to be the end of my career. And so I had to go in there and prove it myself that it wasn't yet, And so if I allowed myself to listen to what everybody says, I would have been long gone a long time ago, because you figure like you teach everybody their lessons. And then it happened again in 2012. I got sent to Ukraine. I hadn't really had a big fight in a couple of years, and people just thought I was getting sent to Ukraine as a farewell fight just to make a little bit of money and be done. And I was surprised that everybody was thinking about me like that again. I was like, wow, these people really don't learn their lesson, And so I went to Ukraine, and I came back with the WBA welterweight title at the time, and I was able to turn things around again in my career. And those are really two key situations, because losses in those two fights would really have erased me from the upper echelon of the sport. So I find myself again in this kind of situation. I'm not traveling to anybody's hometown this time. I'm fighting in my own hometown, but it's the same situation. It's kind of the same thing. No matter what I say going into this fight, people are still going to look at it the same way, that I'm the opponent and I'm the guy that Danny's supposed to beat, and this is my last fight, and this is I'm just taking this for a payday and all this stuff. So if I hadn't already been through this, maybe I would worry about it. I remember in 2009 going to Houston, being kind of worried about it, just, complaining about all kinds of stuff and just not really knowing what I was walking into. I was walking into a dark room, but I'm not walking into a dark room on August 1st. I know exactly what's going on. I know exactly what the rumblings are out in the boxing world, and I know exactly what everybody's saying about the fight. Regardless, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. I go in the gym. I do my work every day. I know my mindset. It's focused. It's ready. And I know I'm going there to do work on August 1st. And nobody's opinion is going to matter once the bell rings. You can't take people's opinions in the ring with you. Again, whether they be good or whether they be bad, nobody's opinion comes in the ring with you. It has absolutely no bearing on who wins each and every single round.
Question is for Danny. Danny, what things have you been able to do this time around doing training that you could not do in the past because you had to make 140?
You know, we added things. We added things to our workout now. You know, we added a lot of explosive workouts, a lot of agility. You know, a lot of footwork. You know, a lot of things that make me more explosive. Things I couldn't do at 140 because I didn't have the energy for it. But now, the extra weight is really helping me. You know, I'm adding more meals to my day, to make me stronger. Like before, I had to skip meals. I always feel weak. And, we're just adding a lot of things to get strong for 147.
When you're thinking about this fight and you're training in the gym, do you 100% know how good you're going to be as far as the sharpness and what you have left at 34, or does it remain to be seen and you'll only know on fight night?
It's funny. It's like fight night, you can feel any which way. Fight night winds up, you can have a good camp and sometimes have a bad night. You can have a bad camp and have a good night. You don't know how you're going to be on fight night until you wake up the morning of the fight. But I will say this. I'm having a good camp, and it mainly has to do with the fact that I've flowed from one camp to another, and I've been able to keep working on my skills and keep working on my sharpness. And, my weight has stayed low because of the fact that I've had consistent training, consistent sparring. So, I can't, I don't think anybody knows for sure, but I will say this, I really like the way I'm feeling right now. And, I like the way I like the rhythm that I'm in when I'm in the gym. I like the flow. And, we're just going to try to bring this sharp camp into the fight.
And Paulie, you referenced earlier that you know what people are out there thinking. You and I actually floated this fight to you a couple months ago, and you said, yeah, no, I don't think so, coming off a loss. Then you get it. Do you believe that you got the fight because they believed that you were a fated fighter?
I don't know. I didn't go that deep into thinking it. I just, when I got the call, I was just surprised, and then I got to thinking, like, man, that's a big fight. And obviously any competitor wants big fights and wants to be in the limelight and wants to be on the big stage, and I was wondering if I would ever get a chance to fight on this stage again, and so, I was more just surprised than anything else. It wasn't, I didn't really go into thinking as to why I got the fight or why I got offered the fight or whatnot. I think that's more you guys' job and I'm sure everybody lets me know about it on Twitter and in the media and whatnot, why I've got this fight. And even if I didn't think about it, just seeing what everybody says about it, I kind of get the gist of it, and again, it's nothing new to me. It's the reason I got offered the fight. It's the same reason I got offered the Juan Diaz fight in Houston in 2009. It's the same reason I got the Vyacheslav Senchenko fight in Ukraine in 2012. And my confidence comes from me knowing I have the mental capacity to not let kind of pressure bother me. And I have the mental capacity to just go into my zone and eliminate all the negativity from my mind. Danny said earlier, he would love the media and the fans to love him. Really, I could give a fuck whether anybody loves me or hates me. And I think the body of my work throughout my career, or the things I've said, the things I do, shows that I could care less whether anybody loves me or hates me. I go out there to do a job. I'm a competitor. I love competing. I love the adrenaline rush of combat at the highest level and testing myself against the best fighters in the world. And that's it. That's why I do this. And I love to see where I'm at. And on August 1st, I'll show myself.
Hey, Paulie.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm calling all the way from sunny London here. For the records, we love you commentating. So I think your career succession planning route is already set out. So keep doing what you're doing there. Listen, I would say that some of the best work that you have done in the ring is by outfoxing heavy-handed opponents. How much of the old fox are we going to see outwitting again against Danny Garcia?
I think for the most part, people know Danny's style. People know my style. And then, we're going to make some adjustments to each other, both as part of the game plan and once we see each other in the ring, the first early rounds, I can't really tell you exactly how I'm going to play it out until I'm in the ring myself. But yeah, I plan on being the best me possible. I plan on being the sharpest me possible. and right now in training, I've thus far I've felt really good, and so the plan is to flow this training camp into a sharp night on August 1st.
Fantastic, thank you. My next couple of questions are for Danny. Danny, it didn't really come as a big surprise to the boxing world when you decided to make an announcement you're going to move up to welterweight. Your last two fights, one was at 143, one was at 142, and you've had various other fights at the beginning of your career, which are around the 144 mark. How long had you been thinking about the move up to welter?
I believe right after the Matthysse fight, I wanted to move up. I felt like that was a perfect time for me to move up, because I beat, two top 140-pounders at that time. I had beat Khan, and then I came back and beat Morales and Matthysse, and I felt like, I beat two of the best 140-pounders, so I feel like it's time for me to go to 147. But, they had different plans for me. Me and my team, we decided to stay at 140 for a little longer to see how it play out. And, I just wasn't feeling strong at the weight class anymore. I just wasn't feeling strong no more, so I felt like, it was time for me to go up to 147.
Fantastic. My final question is this. The last time I interviewed you was back in 2012, where you just beat Amir Khan, and then you carried on for your last sort of 7-8 fights, undefeated as world champion. Now, moving up to the 147 division and relinquishing your 140 titles, how confident do you feel that you can become a world champion again against the likes of Thurman, Kell Brook, perhaps a rematch against Amir Khan?
I'm very confident. I faced a lot of good fighters. I faced a lot of great fighters in my career, and I have a lot of experience. And I was a big 140-pound fighter. I never faced a 140-pound fighter who was taller than me, or who looked bigger than me. So I was just squeezing my body down to 140. And I feel like I'm gonna be a way better fighter at 147. Be able to use my legs more. At 140, I felt like I wasn't strong no more, so I just had to walk forward all night and knock my opponents out. But I feel like at 147, you're gonna see a more athletic Danny Garcia. Be able to use my legs more, and using my jab more, and see punches clear. When you drain yourself, it's hard to see punches, and you get hit with a lot of dumb punches because your vision is not clear. And I feel like my vision is going to be a lot clearer. I'll be able to move my head, see the punches better, use my feet. And I think I'm going to be, a champion at 147 too. I know so.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us for this PBC on ESPN call. Again, it'll be Danny Swift Garcia against Paulie Magic Man Malignaggi, Danny Jacobs against Sergio Mora in the opening bout at the Barclays Center, August 1, prime time on ESPN. Coverage beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time. And thanks, everybody, for joining us. Hope to see you then.